built in 1662, led to the palaces of the Governor-General and Archbishop of Manila. Original gate located to several meters to the left, renovated in 1782. National hero Sir Rizal passed through this gate from Fort Santiago to his execution site at Bagong Bayan in 1796.
Puerta de Santa Lucia, built in 1603, this was one of the original entrances to the walled city. Underwent improvements in the late 18th century, favored route to Malecon Drive outside walls. Destroyed during Battle of Manila in 1945. Side chambers restored in 1968 and gate in 1982.
The ECJ building, the Casa Nueva or the provincial house of the Agustinus order. It was built in 1895 and connected to San Agustin Convent by an ornate covered walkway over Calle Real. Destroyed by fire in 1932. Two-story building constructed to house Adamson University in 1939. A school founded in 1932 by George and Lucas Adamson as a technological school in Santa Cruz, Manila. This building was used as army barracks during the Japanese occupation. It was destroyed in 1945. ECJ building erected in 1980s with a facade patterned after the provincial house.
Balwartillo de San Jose, a tunnel-like passage built in with a drainage canal emptying out into the mud. Its primary use was to transport ammunition to Reducto de San Pedro. The site was known as Number 1 Victoria Street when it served as General Douglas MacArthur's headquarters in 1941.
Reducto de San Pedro. This is an independent pentagonal structure built outside the walls. It had its own stockpile of cannonballs deposited in recessed ledge at the entrance. A ramp on one side of the structure leading to the parapet made their transport easier. Gun emplacements look out of the parapet.
Bagong Bayan Light and Sound Museum, the centerpiece project to Visit Philippines 2003 campaign. This lot was the former site of the convent of the nuns of the Vicario de la Campaña de Jesus, now the Religious of the Virgin Mary, considered as a major tourist attraction, being the first of its kind in Asia. The museum showcases Philippine history and a nutshell focusing on Rizal's heroism and martyrdom.
Baluarte de San Diego, designed and built by Jesuit priest Antonio Cedeño from 1586 to 1587. It is one of the oldest stone fortifications in Intramuros. Began as a circular fort called Nuestra Señora de Guia, renovated in 1593 to join the walls of the city. Fort fell in disrepair. New Baluarte completed between 1653 and 1663, resembling an eight-gate house, a foundry during the 18th century, breached by British forces with cannon fire in 1762, restored after the British occupation but damaged during the earthquake in 1863. It was then condemned by the Spaniards, totally destroyed during the Battle of Manila in 1945, restored from 1979 to 1992.
Go.
Puerto Real, built in 1863, used exclusive by the Governor-General for state occasions. Original gate at right side of the Baluarte de San Andres and faced the village of Bagong Bayan. Destroyed during the British invasion in 1762. Old gate walled in a chamber converted into powder magazines. Present Puerto Real and Revelin constructed in 1780.
Revelin de Real de Bagumbayan. Revelin converted into Manila Aquarium during American period, used as prison cell and barracks during Japanese occupation. Damaged in the Battle of Manila in 1945, restored in 1969, and additional work made in 1989. Revelin Bridge excavated and restored in 1982. The Manila Aquarium was revived after the war and maintained until it closed in 1983. Go.
Baluarte de San Andres. Built in 1603, designed to protect the old Puerto Real and reinforce southeastern part of Intramuros. Reconstructed in 1733 with the addition of a bomb-proof arsenal for gunpowder, a watchtower or garita, and soldiers' barracks, also called Baluarte de San Nicolas or Carranza, destroyed during British siege of Manila in 1762. Rebuilt and modified after the British occupation, damaged during the Battle of Manila in 1945, restored in 1987.
Revelin de Recoletos, built in 1771, named after the Recoletos Church nearby, also known as Revelin de Dilao. Built to strengthen the defense of the curtain wall between Baluarte de San Andres. Original entrance closed when Revelin was converted into a garden in 1940, named Aurora Gardens, in honor of the wife of Commonwealth President Manuel L. Quezon, damaged during the Battle of Manila in 1945, and restored in 1969 and again in 1896.
Baluarte de Dilao. Built in 1592 as part of the original fortifications, also known as San Lorenzo, San Francisco de Dilao, or simply Dilao. Named after the Japanese suburb, it faced across the city. Enlarged in 1662 following the threat of invasion by Chinese pirates, damaged after the British attack on Manila in 1762. Repaired and strengthened in 1773, damaged during the Battle of Manila in 1945, restored in 1984.
Puerta del Parcha, named after the Parian de Apoteros across the city where Chinese merchants live, built in 1593, one of the earliest entrance of the Intramuros. Became official entrance of the Governor-General in 1764 after destructions of Puerto Real during the British invasion.
Revelin del Parian. Revelin built in 1603 following Chinese uprising, used as defense line between the curtain walls of Baluarte de San Andres and the Parian Gate. Vaulted chambers built in 1739 to house soldiers and military supplies. Entire defense work completed in 1782, Gate and Revelin severely damaged in 1945. Restoration began in 1967 and completed in 1986. Baluarte de San Gabriel, built in 1593. This was the walled city's most important defense in the north that protected the riverside. Rampant cannons overlooked the Parian in Binondo, site of the first Parian in Manila and former site of the Hospital de San Gabriel. Hospital founded in 1587 by the Dominican Father for Chinese populace, destroyed by fire in 1597. Rebuilding stopped by city by government for security reasons. Moved to Binondo, closed in 1774. Baluarte de San Gabriel underwent renovations in the 18th century, destroyed in 1995 during the Battle of Manila, and restored in 1989.